Why, hello everyone, welcome to Magical Girl Month. Last time we talked about Madoka Magica and my pain towards it. Today we'll be talking about Magical Girl in general. Why? Because I can. That's simple and straightforward. Now, Madoka Magica is the Madoka Magica. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Magical Girl is simply a genre where there's a girl and they have magic. It's usually a character that's under the age of 18 that has said magic. Pretty simple and straightforward. There's actually very little else related to the Magical Girl genre. However, they started putting more information towards it, such as adding when they transform into something, or just something like this. The key transforming majorly came about by Sailor Moon, but not just by Sailor Moon, but it came prominent by Sailor Moon. Well, and a lot of the Magical Girl shows adopted it. A few shows didn't. An example is Cardcaptor Sakura. It is still a part of the Magical Girl franchise. It just doesn't adopt it because that's not what the show is about, so it doesn't focus upon it. It's okay. Nanoha, which I'll be talking about later, focuses a lot on it, a lot of the transformations, and you could even say that the staff who made it are like the experts on transformations at this point. They know exactly what to show, and that's it for that one transformation sequence that you'll see. Nanoha, ever since season 2, has basically stopped showing transformation sequences more than once. And I'll be glad to say, hell yes! Actually, something really interesting, in the new movie Detonation, spoiler warning, they don't show any! At all! Zilch! Nada! There is no transformation sequences in the entire movie. And I am, in a way, impressed that they decided not to do it. I could have totally seen them just do it. There was one point where they could have totally done it. Which, it's fine. Now, there's a few other ones. Few that are like Madoka Magica are Magical Girl Raising Project, which it's similar to Madoka Magica, but I kind of prefer it in certain cases, but it's the same kind of idea. It's a grimmer show, and it's meant to be not really towards men, but it's marketed more towards a dual audience, where it's older audience would probably be the better statement. It's not for girls, not for guys, it's for both. Same kind of thing with Lyrical Nanoha, except season 1. I'm probably going to be saying that a lot during this and during the Madoka Magica one. I said that previously. Nanoha one, because Nanoha is, especially the first season, is weird. It should be locked in its own category, to be honest. Not a part. It'll still be a part of Magical Girl genre, but not a part of Nanoha the franchise, because it's very clear that was a cash-in almost. Because they wanted to tie it into Triangle Heart, which was its original material, which was a spin-off of it that simply took off better than it did. Now, Yuki Yuna is probably my favorite Magical Girl series out of all of them. As I said last week, it's a series that's enjoyable, it's lovely, it is still semi-grim, but it's not grim in the same ways. It uses the same idea as Madoka Magica, where it's not like the physical trauma, it's the mental trauma. But these are usually more mental issues that, rather than like them being wrong, it's more like, okay, this is what comes up because of something, or something else. Usually it's something that you can see, and issues that slowly creep up on you, and the culminations at the end, rather than just, oh, they have mental issue, boom, issue now, which is sometimes how mental issues work, but usually most of the time when you have a mental problem, you notice it kind of creeps up on you, and okay, it does something, then does something, and it just builds over time, which in most cases leads to the extreme. And trust me, this show does go to the extreme sometimes. Such as suicide. And other really, really terrible things that really should not be talked about in like a quick and happy way. Which Yuki Yuna does understand. It's a slice of life show that has Magical Girl in it. And it more or less ditches its quirky comedy when it gets serious. And when after it gets serious, it might turn up the sweetness again, but It really doesn't push it. And that's simply the reason why I really like it. Now, there's a few other series that I would like to touch upon because Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, Nanoha, and Madoka Magica are the major ones that made it very, very popular. Well, right now anyway, because there's a small resurgence of it. Especially after Madoka Magica. There was just everyone throw their hat into the ring. Being Magical Girl Sight, Raising Project. There was one that was a parody of Madoka Magica. I don't remember what it was, but it was hilarious. There's another one. There's so many of them that I would literally have to grab a list and scroll it on screen. That's how many there were. Now, I should be blatant that there are certain ones where Magical Girl shows are not meant to be taken seriously by any means. Usually when they include a male as the main character. A good example is this. Is This a Zombie? Which isn't ecchi, yes, but it is very silly, and it's meant to be silly. Where the main character literally has to use the Magical Girl powers. I want to touch upon one in the very late bit of this, which will be something else. And I really feel kind of bad. Now, Magical Girl isn't restricted to Japan by any means. There is plenty, actually, that are from other places. Winx Club, for example, is one. Miraculous Ladybug is from Japan, from France, and a few others. From America, the Star vs. Force of Evil, that is technically a Magical Girl show. Steven Universe, as pain I am to admit it, it is technically a Magical Girl show in certain cases. Little Charmers, Shimmer and Shine, and some other shows are technically Magical Girls, Magical Girl shows, as well, sub ideas, or even their original concepts, because Japan has a lot of their ideas have merged with our current stance of, well, animation. So you'll get a lot of weird stuff in it. Now, I want to specifically talk about now that Magical Boy that I said earlier, which was Cute High Earth Defense Club Love. Okay, I will be blatant. I watched the entire franchise. I'm going to be very blatant. It was funny for a little bit. The first season was pretty funny, but after that, it was a little pushy. And, well, there's 4 seasons. Well, there's 3 seasons and an OVA, which is technically a movie. It's almost an hour. I feel kind of bad for certain bits of it, because it's clear that there was an attempt in the first season to make a very interesting show. But when they realized that shock value of of these certain characters doing certain things, they just decided to turn them into caricatures, and it really, really hurt. The one benefit, though, is that the second season's music is outstanding, and I love it. That's the only reason why I watched the show, and it'll be the only season I ever watch, simply because the music is amazing. So good. It was very clear meant to be a parody on Magical Girl, well, not really a parody on Magical Girls, but simply show that there can be a magical guy genre as well, and both will work. And to be fair, a lot of the designs are very nice, they're very clean, and they work. But are they good? No. 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 The story is all over the place and doesn't understand what it wants to be. The characters are caricatures, as I said earlier, and it just feels like they're trying to cash in on the Magical Girl genre, but they want to do it in their own way to try and pick up the things. It has been recently labeled as a parody, apparently. Which is alright, I guess. I'll say that it deserves the title of parody now. I did want to touch upon it, though, because there's probably going to be some people who want to know about it. And there you go. I'm probably never going to talk about it again, or if I do, it'll be probably in a very negative way. Even though I personally don't like being very negative, I will be negative towards certain things, such as Madoka Magica. I was very negative in that podcast. And of course this, because it just, there's so many things wrong. if in a way you want a magical guy in shows, I would actually recommend the Nanoha movies, where even though he was important, it becomes more important, and you do get to see him around. And Chrono, which is another character, also becomes more important. So you actually get, and there's several male characters, especially in the later series of Nanoha, simply because it's not about magical girls anymore. It's just simply about ideas. Hell, one of the main characters is a guy in Strikers. So you have a whole set of different people and different things, and it's usually interesting. There we go. That is, I think, my final words about magical girl genre that you really need to know about. One final thing, though, is that, yeah, I really wish that some shows started taking not the genre seriously. The genre is usually meant to be very seriously silly, but it needs to be more concise. People need to understand, oh, if I'm writing in this genre, you can do whatever the hell you want. Just be careful about what you show and how you do it. See you here next week for What I Dread. Bye.